So this is a open house about this course, this large language model related course. Um, yeah, so this title here, this actually I have a different title. So we will because we will not only cover the large language model and prompt engineer. Uh, so the new title is actually about how we can build large language model applications from ground up, and also its production level large language models um, applications. Yeah. Uh, I will first briefly introduce this course and myself, and maybe just several minutes, and then I will open to the audience to raise any questions. Does this sound good? And yeah, feel free to raise your hand. And yeah, I will try to answer the question in the real time. I don't know whether there's a yeah, I believe there's a way that I can unmute a, a participant here. So if you want to ask question using audio, it's also okay. Yeah, either way is fine. Yeah. Okay, so first a bit about myself. Um, I've been working for a long time, actually. Yeah, more than 20 years. I've been working in large companies like Microsoft Research, Microsoft, Alibaba, eBay, and also I've been working in small startup companies, including Rulai, which is a chatbot company, and most recently Alter.ai. Um, I believe people maybe already hear about the Alter.ai, which is a meeting transcription and summarization software company. So we use a lot of large language model in our product. And I also get a lot of hands-on experience in the development of this product on the large language model. So I believe I have some experience to share. Um, yeah. So the target audience of this course uh, is for the people, anyone who want to gain knowledge and the skills about large language models and like the ChatGPT, right? There are maybe more than ChatGPT. There are like Anthropic and also open source ones like Llama 2, Mistral, and so on. And also people are interested in building their own large language model applications, including like this recently very popular RAG-based applications or chatbot or any content creation, and also agent, right? Agent is getting more and more popular recently. And for the requirement of the background, it's better you have the prior knowledge of Python programming. Um, yeah, I think that's the only requirement. We don't need any natural language processing or machine learning knowledge. Yeah, because I think the large language model is quite new. Uh, those background um, are, I wouldn't say not related, but it's okay to start from scratch. You learn how the large language model works, because that's a very different model, and it's quite different from the traditional machine learning and the natural language processing. And some of the basic information about the course, building production-ready large language model apps from the ground up. As I said, this is the title. And we already had a last course sometime in the last year. Actually, we just had the course project report yesterday. So this is a project report from our students within the last course. They really learned something from the course, and they are interested in building something using large language model, and they want to present these ideas to a large audience. So we have 3 investors joined yesterday's report, and about 100 participants. And we got a lot of interesting questions on those projects, and we see those projects are also quite promising. So about this course will start from next weekend actually, and in total it should be 8 weeks. But in the middle there's one week I have something I need to go out of town, so total 9 weeks with 1 week I'm not available. Yeah, and this is registration link. If you go to techlent.com, it's easy to find it. And yeah, this is the outline of the course. So it's, I would say it's looks like similar to the last course. So basically we want to introduce firstly from the most basic large language models and ChatGPT's prompt engineer, and going to RAG, retrieval-based augmented generation. And then we go to some hands-on practice, including the Python programming, calling large language model APIs, and then go to more complex ones like LangChain, Llama Index, and the vector databases. And also we will teach you skills about the whole end-to-end application development, the full stacks, front end, back end, database, and deployment, and the evaluations. Yeah, everything around this large language model applications. And as I mentioned, we will also have some introduction to the very popular agent applications. So this is actually something quite new. In the last course, we didn't actually extensively introduce agent, but it's getting very, very popular, and I believe that's the next generation of large language model apps. And finally, similar to the last course, we will have the recap and the student project. In this recap, every student will have the opportunity to present what they have built. And from all those projects, we will choose the best ones. Similarly to yesterday, we can present to a larger audience and to some potential investors. So throughout this whole course, we will use an example project to try to demonstrate all the coding, including how to call the large language model API, how to use the LangChain Llama Index, how to use vector databases, and also all the front end development, back end databases, and the deploying to AWS. We will have the sample code in the GitHub shared to everyone, and people can just easily follow those code, and also maybe just modify those code and to develop your own project. Yeah, so this project looks like a chatbot, so you can ask any questions. But different from ChatGPT is it can be built as a customized chatbot. So basically, if you have your personal document, you can just using this kind of RAG technology, right? You can embed those knowledge into this chatbot, and you can ask a question about your personal documents. Yeah, so this is the project. Okay, Yeah, so yeah, actually that's all. That's all what I would like to say. Uh, Now it's a chance that anyone have any questions? Let's discuss. Feel free to just send the question in the Q&A and or maybe you can just raise your hand and just speak out your question. Okay, so I got the first question in the Q&A from Donghui Zhou. The question is all the training based on ChatGPT? Uh, I don't know what you mean by training, but here in the course, I will introduce multiple models, including the ChatGPT and the models behind the ChatGPT, right? GPT-4, GPT 3.5, and so on. But also there are other choices of models like the Anthropic Cloud, and also the open source ones, including the most very famous Llama 2, and recently the Mistral is quite good. Um, yeah, so I will introduce all of them. But I think the examples we have in the course is mostly based on GPT-4, which is the best one in the market. Um, So if we are building any applications, I also suggest we start from the GPT-4, and then based on the other requirement like the cost, speed, and so on, you can switch to other models. Uh, so the next question from Yiwei Liu. How long do we need to train? So you mean that uh, how long we need to learn this knowledge to then to be able to actually do something, right? So I believe the course is 8 weeks. So basically, I think the one of the benefits of large language model is that it's actually quite simple right now. So unlike traditional machine learning, natural language processing, um, the interface of the large language model is actually quite simple, right? You just input some text as prompt, and the output is also some text, right? So from that you can easily start to use that, uh, and and also that make it easier for all the engineering, right? Um, so like all the front end, back end, things like that. Um, you just need to have a OpenAI account, and you call this OpenAI service. You can already get the result. There's no you don't need to do any training on the model. You can just quickly start to use these models with certain prompt engineering, prompt tuning, right? Um, so it should be very fast. I believe after this 8 weeks class, you should be able to build your own large language model apps. Okay, now the next question. Why agent could be the next generation large language model apps? What does agent do? Okay. So I think one thing I would like to say about agent is that the agent is closer to human level intelligence. Why would I say that? Because you would be able to learn from the course, of course. The agent has some capability that traditional models doesn't have, including the planning, right? Including the capability to use tools, and also uh, uh, agent can interact with each other. So without you telling the agent what exactly you want, the agent can actively uh, plan and to use the tool to achieve certain goals. So consider this before agent, all the models, all the um, including ChatGPT, right? These are tools, tools that human want to use to achieve certain tasks. But the agent itself is not just tools. It can use tools themselves. It can interact with each other. It can plan the goal, plan for very high level task, and to achieve that goal step by step. So it's a higher level of intelligence. So that's why I think agent is the next generation of large language model apps. Okay, the next question. Do we need GPU to use large language model? Is there a platform to offer GPU? Yeah, I believe the large language model, because it's the scale is very large, right? So the actual hosting, actually including the training, right? I don't talk about the training because the cost of training a large language model is very high. So I will ignore training for now. But the hosting still requires the GPU. There are multiple ways to do this. One is you directly call the OpenAI or Anthropic's model, right? Then you don't need to worry about the infrastructure. Everything is taken care by OpenAI and Anthropic. But maybe in your company, or maybe for a certain reason, you don't want to use those public large language model. You want to host your own large language model using open source ones like the Llama 2 and Mistral. And probably you also want to fine tune your own large language model. And that's all your large language model, and you want to host that in certain environment. Of course, you can you need to have this infrastructure to host that. For the GPU, I believe that that's actually quite challenging right now. You see that although there are cloud platforms, right, including the Google GCP and Amazon AWS, you can apply for GPU there. But recently, I heard that it's quite hard to get enough number of GPU, especially if you want to have the production quality service. You want to have dedicated server, GPU server, and to provide very stable service. You need to get a hold of certain number of GPU to serve those traffics. I think recently it's quite challenging. Yeah, yeah, I don't have a good answer to that. How do we get those GPUs? Yeah, but of course there are a lot of platforms we can try. Yeah, hope that satisfying answer. Okay, next question from Donghui Zhou. I'm new in this field. To me, big model need API key. Does the training course provide the API key for the course? Do we need to set up any AWS our own? Yeah, right. So I think in the beginning of the course, if you are only using the ChatGPT, I think that's free, right? So you just open a ChatGPT account and start to use the default model, which is the GPT 3.5 Turbo. You can already do a lot of things using that. That's free. Uh, but then go to the development part. When you want to develop some application on top of GPT-4, GPT 3.5 Turbo models, you you need an API key. Yeah, but I think that should not cost a lot if you are only doing this kind of demo project, because I believe the cost should be very small if you are only sending some example data to the API. So in the last course, I I was developing this demo project and also showing this demo project to students. It only cost several dollars. I believe it's just $3 or $4. It's not a very big expense. And AWS, yeah. Uh, I, I I will teach the deployment of this application. So you you need to know how to set up a AWS account. Of course, I will try to also teach you step by step how to create that account in the course, and then learn how to create virtual machines, how to apply for IP address, how to associate your domain name to the IP address, and then deploy your applications into those virtual machines. Yeah, to do all those, you need to have your AWS. Okay, next question from RD. Will the project prompt answers similar to what we get from ChatGPT, other open resource by asking the same questions? Yeah, right. So the response from the API should be the same to the ChatGPT or any existing tools. So all those tools are actually a wrapper to those APIs, right? Like the ChatGPT is um, just a UI that can save your chat histories. But for every question you ask, the UI will need to gather all the chat history and the current question and send all those to the backend, which should be a GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 API. So if you are doing it right, your tool will have the same result, or I wouldn't say the same because there are randomness in the models, should have the similar result to the existing tools. Okay. Next question. For the project during the course, will it be individual project or team project? Secondly, how do we communicate with the instructor or classmates? Do we have a Q&A session beside the teaching hours? Okay, great question. Yeah. So currently the project is an individual project. We don't officially have this team project, but I think if you know someone in the class, you can just directly pin them and try to group into teams and build the project together. I think that's very good actually. And also you can even find your friends and colleagues not in the class, right? Because to build any any application, you need a lot of expertise from different perspectives. Maybe this part in this course, you will focus on the large language model, but there are other parts. Although I will teach you the other part, like deployment and front end, back end development, but it also requires a lot of effort to build the production level and the fully functional applications. It requires people to do that. So I think I encourage you to collaborate with either your classmate or some friends from outside of the class to build this kind of project. The communication, we have WeChat groups for the whole class. And after class, you can just directly ask questions to me. So if you can hear from the previous session, the people from previous session, you should know that I respond very quickly for any questions outside of the class time. So that should not be a problem. We don't have separate Q&A session beside the classes, but I will actually spend the time on the remember that I said we have the student project, right? So before the 8th week student project, when you guys are creating student project, I will actually spend one-on-one time for students who want to create those projects. And also in the final public presentation of your project, I actually spend a lot of hours with our students to make the presentation very good. Next question. All courses will use Python only. Do I need to learn another programming language? So yeah, most of our examples are Python code. Just in the full stack development, in the front end, we actually cannot use Python. We need the HTML, JavaScript, and for more complicated applications, maybe you need a React, TypeScript, and also in the backend, maybe to build some mature application, you maybe want to mix with some other languages, right? Like the building those kind of databases, data pipeline, microservices. There are a lot of choices of other languages. But I think for this course, mostly still Python. Yeah. Okay. Another question from Donghui Zhou. How frequently does this course open each year? Is there any other courses after spring courses? I think so. So last year we started our course on September. So after this course, I don't have the plan yet, but I believe so. And also because this whole area is making progress very fast. There are new development, new technologies, new models uh, will be launched every month, either even every day. So uh, we probably will refresh this course very quickly. We want to include the new technologies, new models. Even it's possible that we create some more advanced course. For example, agent. If the agent is a big thing, we probably can create a course only for agent, right? So it's all possible. Yeah. Is this project for high school students or for professionals? Okay. Great question. Great question. Yeah, I didn't even think about this. So yeah, based on the background knowledge, we only require Python, right? Um, so I think high school students can also join this class without any problem. Uh, and to be frank, that high school students maybe they don't have a lot of experience, but they probably are more creative. I think this whole area is the um, area which requires a lot of creativity. Um, if you have any idea, if you have any um, either crazy idea or very innovative things, um, you by learning those large language model coding and prompt engineer GPT, you probably can it's maybe more easier for you to implement your ideas. Uh, just recently, I heard that Stanford has a robot can help your cooking. I believe the name is Aloha or something. Yeah, so these are from some Stanford students, right? Just several years older than the high school students. Um, yeah, I think it's a good idea to have high school students to also join this course and to learn those knowledge. Um, yeah, great question. Yeah, thank you. Uh, okay, next question. Limited knowledge to large language model. Curious to know if I train the large language model with ebooks with image embedded. When I ask in the chatbot, will the output come with images? Okay, so this is some details we need to consider. So firstly, do we want to also recognize those images, right? What kind of images are they? Uh, Maybe some of the images having some text. Um, right now, the large language model cannot automatically uh, recognize the images. But I heard that the GPT-4, the next version of GPT-4, uh, can have the capability to recognize image. I don't know how it works now. Um, so I think that's a good news that we can have more capability on the image part. For example, even it can recognize object or person within those images. So yeah, definitely, I think that's possible, but not with the current large language model. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know whether all the questions are uh, answered. Let me see. Yeah, if you have any follow-up question or if you are not satisfied by any of the answers, please follow up in this Q&A. Okay, next question. Can I develop large language model that can work with game engine. Uh, I'm not in this area, so by game engine, yeah, but probably if you look at some of the paper related to agent, um, that's something you can do in the game engine. Actually, I saw a paper that they developed some agent that uh, each agent is like a role, a person within a game, and each person uh, have their own properties, like what's the gender, what's the occupation, what's the daily activities. They can define those properties for each person, and those person. So as I said, agent have the capability to plan, to interact, right? So those each person can uh, do something automatically on their own in this environment, in a gaming environment. I don't remember the name of the environment, but they already observe very good behaviors within that game. Each person is because that's enabled by the large language model, and each one really behave like a person. It's quite intelligent. It knows what to do in the right time, and how to respond to others, and how to recognize the environment, things like that. Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. Okay, next question from Yiwei Liu. Could you briefly elaborate differences between GPTs and agents? Uh, okay, GPTs, I think it was launched just several weeks ago, and I see there are already very good applications on the GPTs. Um, I didn't try GPTs myself, but based on the all the API I know in the GPT, in the OpenAI, I think uh, most of the applications um, can do either the basic large language model, content generation, text generation, or there are new API, which is the assistant API, right? Assistant API works more like a RAG assistant. So basically, you can save some files into the uh, OpenAI's SDK, OpenAI API, and then to answer questions based on those documents, those files you uploaded. But agent, I believe, it's a broader concept. As I said, it's should be able uh, to given a high level task, it can uh, split the task into smaller steps, and it can use tools, um, and it can interact with each other. Uh, so all these capabilities, I'm not sure which one of the GPTs application can already do that. I would say agent is still very early, in the early stage. Um, there are a lot of problems, including the capability of large language model, whether it has a very good reasoning capability, planning capability, things like that. So to make the agent really work, I think there's still a long way to go. Okay, next question from John Y. How will core large language model recognize images of humans correctly? Can it reach 80% or only 55%? Is it practical now in computer vision? Uh, so uh, most of the large language model currently still don't support image. So I'm not sure about this, how to answer this. I would say based on some of the examples I saw before, I think there is Google has a demo, right? To demo how to recognize object from either image or even video. Based on that demo, I would say it's already near the human level intelligence. So I believe it's even more than 80%. Because human level intelligence is maybe, I don't know, 95, 90, 96%, or even more than that. So I believe I am very optimal about that part. Yeah, but I myself didn't try this kind of models. But yeah, if there's a chance, I will try those models. Okay, next question. Is this course taught in English only? Yeah, so that's our target. We will use the English in the whole course. Of course, if you are not, uh, I would encourage you to use English in the class, but if you want to use Chinese, use Mandarin is also okay. So I will, for example, if you have any questions, you can ask in Chinese and I will translate for you. But at least you need to be able to understand the English. If I teach the class in English, you need to understand, right? Yeah. If I can complete all the courses, what kind of job and which level should I apply? Okay. Uh, yeah, I think that's a interesting question. That I think that depends. So I think that this large language model is an additional skill, right? Um, I won't say that this is only way that you can get a job. Um, so a good job requires not just some skill, right? But also the most importantly the problem solving capability. Um, so based on your experience, right? Based on your problem solving capability, you can have different um, you can have a different target jobs. But what I would say is that you maybe already see that we encourage students um, to have innovative ideas and to work on project hands-on. And we even choose some of the best students to present to the investors. So uh, I I think by that I would say the best students actually can target a very high level role in the company, including CTO or CPO, Chief Product Officer, right? And or CDO, Chief Data Science Officer. Because I think those kind of innovation capability is very important. I will try to teach a lot of this kind of innovations in this class. But still, it depends on your experience and capability. Okay, after finishing this course, fulfilling all the assignment, what level of large language model knowledge the student is having for applying DS large language model jobs on the market? What additional knowledge should the student gain? Okay, I think after this course, because I have already included all the required knowledge or all the necessary and also most up-to-date knowledge in the large language model. So you should get a complete understanding of how this large language model works, and even you can start building your own applications on large language model. So you have a very high level knowledge on the large language model. That's guaranteed. And the next part of the question for applying DS data science, right? Large language model jobs. What additional knowledge? So I think data science is a quite, I would say, quite comprehensive job role. It not only requires the large language model, right? It requires the sense of data, the understanding of certain industry, and the sense of product, right? And also all the communication. You need to collaborate with a lot of different groups. I think those knowledge are more needed if you are applying for a DS job. Only a large language model won't be able to help you on that. You probably can also check with our founder of the Techlent, and I believe he has some course about or some presentations on how to apply for those data science jobs. Yeah. Okay, next question from Ming Liu. What can I add to my resume after learning the course? Yeah, I think yeah, I think you can put everything you learned from the course in a resume, and that's definitely helpful. And also, I think Techland is already a quite well-known school in US. So if you just put the Techland there, large language model course, I think that's already very helpful. But even more helpful is that if you can finish some project, right? And you really put some effort on the project and you really learn something from the project. You put the project into the resume. So in addition to the knowledge you learn, you really have something to highlight, actually. You really have something to talk about when you are applying the jobs. I think that's more helpful. So I would encourage everybody try to build some project based on the knowledge you learn. Are there similar jobs in Canada? How is the abundance? I don't have the information on that question actually. Yeah, but I think still after this pandemic, right? Remote job are still quite quite popular. Um, so I think in Canada um, there might be similar opportunities, so you can work remotely for certain companies. Yeah, that's just some of my feelings. Yeah, I really don't have more information here. Sorry. Next question. What if I don't have any ideas of what chatbot I want to build right now? Should I attend this course? Yeah, definitely. So in the introduction part, uh, actually I will introduce some of the startups, some of the applications people has built on top of ChatGPT or other language models. I believe during this course you will get more understanding on what it can do, uh, and also if you try the ChatGPT or other models, um, you try asking questions, you will get an idea what it you will be amazed actually by the capability of the model. And even for me, when I try those models, I can often find something I didn't know. It keeps surprising me every day. Uh, so during this process, you can probably find the opportunity, find a very good idea of how to use the large language models. Okay, next question. You mentioned today the components of a successful chatbot. Can you talk more about the bottleneck of building a successful chatbot? The data availability or the computing expense? Okay, yeah, the bottleneck of building a successful chatbot. Um, I think that's also depends what kind of chatbot it is, right? Um, so so for example, ChatGPT is already a very successful chatbot, right? Um, it can serve a lot of different purpose. It can already accomplish a lot of tasks. Uh, but people still find it limited because it doesn't have the latest information. It doesn't have the private domain knowledge. Um, so people are trying to build those um, either enterprise chatbot or even personal chatbot, right? Using this kind of RAG-based methodology, you can embed knowledge, private knowledge, and or enterprise knowledge into the chatbot, and make it answer questions uh, in this particular domain. Um, so, but in terms of that, for example, maybe I can talk more about the enterprise chatbot. Um, in enterprise chatbot, maybe there are some more challenges people are facing. Um, of course, this data availability. Yeah, I believe the data issue is actually the biggest issue. Uh, how do you collect the data from all the environment, including the access permissions and including the format of the data, um, and also the availability of the data when you really need them, right? So basically how to index those data, because this kind of RAG application, you need to quickly fetch information for certain questions. You cannot like go through a long process to collect those data um, for a certain question, right? That response need to be within a second. Within a second, you can collect those information for your question. That's already a very high, very high requirement for a lot of enterprises. Yeah, I think you are right. The data availability is actually a biggest bottleneck. Computing expense, I I don't know. It depends on which company, right? Um, right now, I think that should not be a very big issue because you can start from the those existing APIs, OpenAI or Anthropic, right? So you can start from very minimal cost, and then if later if it requires, you can start to build your own large language model, to host your own large language model to save the cost. Yeah, there are always way to do that. Maybe another bottleneck is the data security, right? If there are some high standard within an enterprise, you don't want to use an external API. You don't want to send data to OpenAI's API. So that may be a bottleneck. Then you need to build your own technology, your hosting environment, to really utilize those open source large language models. Yeah, that's maybe a big bottleneck. Yeah, I think that's a big question actually. Hopefully I answered some of them, but we can keep discussing in the WeChat, for example, if you can ping me in the WeChat. Okay, we still have 3 questions. Next, do you envision Meta will offer paid large language model in addition to free LLM? They spend $1 billion. Maybe they will charge some money for their LLM service in the future. Yeah, I really don't know about that part because I think that depends on how Meta are going to make money from their large language model, right? Meta is not a uh, cloud company, cloud computing company. It's also not a model uh, serving company. So it's different from OpenAI and also different from AWS, uh, Microsoft. Uh, so yeah, I heard they are building the Llama 3. Yeah, that's very expected thing in the next year actually. Um, but I really don't know whether they will fully open source or having some restriction or maybe sell some license on their models. Uh, yeah, that's all possible. I don't have a good answer for that. Okay, there are quite a lot of LLM courses out there. Would you mind talking more about how your course is differentiating from others? Yeah, I think the major difference is the hands-on capabilities. I think a lot of large language model course focus on the theory, focus on uh, so basically just introduce the how to do that in some slides, but not necessarily those actual code, how to develop those code, and also the whole end-to-end about the applications, front end, back end, deployment, evaluations, and so on. So I think the one major difference here is I will based on my experience, I will tell you this whole end-to-end how to implement the apps, what's the thing to avoid, what's the best practice to be successful. Yeah, I think that's a major thing. Okay, we are over time, but two more questions. Yeah, if you have other thing to do, feel free to leave. But if you can also stay. Are there other types of applications other than chatbot using ChatGPT? In this course, are we going to discuss how to do fact check for ChatGPT generated result? Okay, two questions here. Maybe I can answer second one here first. So, I think the hallucination problem, right? So fact check by fact check, I think you mean how to avoid hallucinations. I think that there is some ongoing research here. What I will introduce in this course is how to evaluate the result, including the hallucination, right? So a lot of this kind of ways to avoid hallucination is still maybe try to do prompt engineer and try to make your RAG pipeline more accurate. Basically put more relevant information in your prompt, in your context. Or just improve your model. So if you have a better model, like GPT-5, if there's GPT-5, of course it will be better than GPT-4 on this kind of hallucination problem. Other than that, I won't introduce a lot on that. But we can have some private discussion if you are interested. So the first question here, are there any other type of application other than chatbot using ChatGPT? Yeah, of course, there are a lot of other applications. One of the example is the content creation, right? So basically to generate certain content, either generate your generate a document, generate your slide deck, and also image generation, right? So from a prompt, you can generate some image satisfying your requirement. This is a whole generation part, and also code generation. You can let the GPT models to generate code for you and then run the code for you. And another type of application is, of course, this kind of agent. Agent is totally different than the chatbot. Agent can do a lot of different things. Given a high-level task, agent can split the task into steps and can step by step accomplish the goal. Yeah, I believe there are a lot of things. So if you are you can be creative. You can think of other type of applications. So chatbot here is just an example in the course to introduce how to use those APIs, how to use those libraries and vector databases, and so on. After finish this course, can only apply for an entry-level job. So I think I answered a similar question before. So that's based on your experience and your other capabilities. I think even if you are really capable, you can apply for CTO, CPO, CDO positions. right? For entry-level job, yeah, if you just graduate from school, yeah, well, of course you can. If you have some experience and some project on large language model, it makes it a lot easier to find jobs. Yeah. Next question, how many projects are prepared in this course for each student? Also, how many projects are sufficient to apply for a job? So for the project, actually it's not prepared by the course. Of course, I can give you some examples, but I encourage you to have your own ideas. Especially you can combine those knowledge with your own job or your own interest. Because they're really if from my point of view, maybe it's quite limited, right? I only I'm working on something and my scope is maybe a little bit limited, right? I will encourage you to think out of box, to think about what we can do with those large language models. Yeah. How many projects are sufficient to apply for a job? I don't think the number is a problem. I think the depth, so how deeply you involve into those projects, and how you can tell tell a good story about those projects. I think those are the things really matters. Yeah, again, this kind of job application information, maybe you can consult with our Dr. Lee, the CEO of Techlent. He has some other classes might be specific for this kind of questions. Okay, seems no more questions. Yeah, yeah, I see Yiwei Liu thanks me, and yeah, actually, I'd like to thank everybody here. You raised the really valuable questions, and I also learned from the questions, and it can help me maybe adjust the course and to better uh, organize the content and better uh, make you better learn this course and better create your project. Yeah, hope this is helpful course for everyone. Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.